Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod is proud to support Community TV. Some of the refreshing and satisfying products offered by Coca-Cola are Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, Sprite, Fanta, Dr. Pepper, and Moxie. 125 years and still teaching the world to sing.
Kinlan Grover Real Estate sells and lists more property than any other real estate company on Cape Cod and is pleased to support community television and the Dukes of Sports.
Heritage Floor Covering supports community television and is located in Heritage Park off Route 130 Sandwich. When you look down, we look good. Carpet, vinyl, tile, and laminates. Sales, service, and installation with 40 years experience.
The Sagamore Inn, 1131 Route 6A in Sagamore, is happy to support community television. We are open for lunch and dinner every day and specialize in Italian-American cuisine, fresh native seafood, and specials.
Sandwich Animal Hospital, 492 Route 6A in East Sandwich, is pleased to support community television. We are accredited by the American Animal Hospital Association and offer surgery, dentistry, general, and preventative care. Appointments are available Monday through Saturday, 508-888-2774. Feel free to visit our website.
Hello. Hello. Welcome to the Dukes of Sports. I'm Randy Lively, and sitting in for Andrew this week is Joe Montagna.
Thank you. It's me, Joe. My name is Rob Vincigara. I impersonate Joe Montagna. You're on the show.
Well, you don't have a person. I mean, it's just you. I mean, you got the look, you got the voice. I mean, you got the paycheck.
Yeah, I got the paycheck.
Yeah,
there we go. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to fill in for Andrew.
Well, this is the guy that we have, if you are a regular viewer, which you should be, and you hear us talking, Andrew and I, with this voice. Here's the voice.
Thank you.
So,
no, I'm just going to serve up this big fat softball. Okay, let's get to the Red Sox.
All right. I mean, I understand only 3 games.
Yes.
Not really time to panic.
No.
But I'm not panicking. This is going to be Randy's rant. I'm a little pissed.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't blame Bobby V for any of those 3 games.
Yep.
Game 2, Beckett gives up, what, 5 home runs?
5 home runs.
They scored none. I don't think he could have managed anything in that game.
I didn't see that game. Who pitched for Detroit in that game? Who shut them out?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I mean, it wasn't anybody. You know what I mean?
No,
Porcello,
missed
maybe?
that
I don't
one.
know who it was.
But, yeah, 10-0. So, manager's got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Now, we have this little bullpen issue.
Yeah.
And I have a Cherington issue.
Ah, okay.
All right. First of all, Valentin's working with what he's got.
Yep.
You know, we all knew, or I think strongly suspected, there was going to be some concerns without Papelbon.
Yep.
So he went out and got Bailey and
Melanson.
Right.
Yep.
Bailey's on a DL. We may not see him till after the All-Star game.
Yep.
So then they anointed Aceves the closer. Guess it seemed like a good idea at the time, and may yet work out. Who knows? But what I really didn't like about Cherington is, besides, I mean, you got a lot of reruns from last year. You got what? Matt Albers. Padilla certainly looked like a good pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been impressed with him, but he looked pretty good yesterday.
One good game.
I agree.
One very good game, actually, on Sunday. But, and then who's the other guy?
Scott Atchison is there again.
Big deal.
I know. Well, Scott Atchison is a mop-up guy. You know what I mean? That's what he is. He's always been that way. He's an innings eater, you know, when they're in trouble.
But what I really, really, really didn't like is before the season started, a question was broached about Bard.
Yeah.
You know, starting, and this was after Bailey was going to be out for months. And Cherington says Bard's going to be a starter. All right, now he's the general manager. Now my way of thinking, he is supposed to supply the players. Get the players, sign the players,
So you're saying that's Bobby V's decision?
Right. I don't think he's supposed to be talking about who's playing where and who's starting and what the batting order might be. I don't think he's gotten into that. So that kind of pissed me off. If I was Valentin, I would not be happy.
Yeah.
I mean, Valentin really wasn't this guy's choice.
Yep.
But nevertheless, he's there. Let's work together. You know, that's what Valentin
I think
keeps
that
saying.
somewhere along the line, whether it's him and Bobby V or the upper management, they've come to the decision that they, maybe it's because Bard wants to be, I don't know. They've come to the decision that Bard is, and it doesn't make any sense to me, that Bard is going to be a starter.
All right.
I don't get it.
Me neither. But
don't get it.
Why shouldn't that be the manager's decision? So that bothers me that Charrington, the GM, is saying who's a starter and who's a reliever, apparently, at least in Bard's case.
Yep.
I would think that's Valentin's call. He's the guy who's going to get extended or fired
by
whether
that
he wins
decision.
or loses.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. And they took Iglesias away from him, which is, I was okay with that.
I heard a reason for that. And the reason they said that is because they have the hardest schedule in baseball the first 3 weeks of the season. And they were expecting they were hoping, a lot of pundits say they were hoping to get out of it at 500.
Mm-hmm.
That would be good. With all, I mean, they're playing Tampa Bay, they're playing the Yankees. They're not playing anybody easy. No Clevelands, no Kansas Cities, no Oaklands. It's all tough right at the beginning. And they didn't want it all to come down on Iglesias' shoulders.
Right.
That he was the reason why they were failing.
Well, he still needs more at-bats, I think.
I agree. But I think he'll be here by the All-Star break.
So, you know, I was sort of okay with that. But just him saying, as opposed to Valentin, that Bard's going to be the starter. It's like so I don't like that. Now, my other bitch is Bard.
Yeah.
Right. Now, granted, it's only 2 games because you throw Saturdays out the window. There's
Yeah.
nothing they could do in that game. I would have a whole lot of respect for him, but I'm not expecting to see it. But it would be a pleasant surprise if he went to Valentin and said, look,
I'll close.
if you need me in the bullpen temporarily, I'll be happy to do it.
Yeah.
A guy like Tim Wakefield, I bet you would have never thought twice about making the offer.
They could use Wake right now, couldn't they?
Yeah. But I don't expect Bard to do it.
Yep.
But if he did, he would gain a whole lot of respect because he would be putting the team first and himself second.
Yeah.
He's still going to get his money when the time comes for him. One way or the other. If he's successful in the bullpen, you know, Papelbon got his.
Yep.
Or if he's successful as a starter. But, and so then you say, okay, well, who's your 5th starter? Well,
that's what I'm looking at the roster here. And one of the things, first of all, that they've done is they have Kelly Shopik, they have Nick Punto as the infielder, and they have Donald McDonald. Those are their only 3 reserves. They have more pitchers than any team in baseball on their active roster right now. So they have, so far, I never heard of Justin Thomas. Do you know Justin Thomas?
Not personally.
I've never heard him, seen him pitch or anything. I don't know if he. And then Michael Bowden. Has Michael Bowden pitched yet? Michael Bowden's been in Pawtucket for like 5 years.
Yeah, well, he's been with the Red Sox off and on.
But he could be a starter.
But he's never shown anything.
No. What I'm saying is they get kind of all these tweener guys. You know what I mean? But nobody.
Bowden originally was a starter.
Yes.
So.
And when he comes up every year, he's a middle reliever.
But I don't know that you hand him the 5th spot over somebody like Aceves.
No. That's what I mean. There's nobody that jumps out to you as a closer other than Bard.
Right.
I mean, and Aceves is a great 8th man, 7th, 8th inning guy, wouldn't you say? That's what I think.
No, I mean, right now, Melancon's 0-2.
Yep.
Aceves has blown 2 saves. He's only faced, I think, 5 batters. Yet to record an out.
I know.
Melancon hasn't done a whole lot.
Well, everybody
granted, it's 2 games for both of them, but they were 2 horrendous back-to-back games for both of them. Now, Bard hasn't really demonstrated that he can be a closer, but If anybody can,
Well, he didn't. I mean, he made it. Is he the fifth starter or the fourth?
He's the fifth.
He's the fifth starter. So with this big experiment all spring, all he could do was come up as the fifth starter. They kind of handed him the job.
Yeah.
It's almost like he didn't get it, but he's barred, so they had to give it to
right?
him.
And they didn't. I mean, he certainly didn't impress in the spring.
No.
Like you say, oh, geez, yeah. I mean, we got to take a shot on this guy.
Yeah, he really didn't
It's
do that,
iffy.
did he? Not
No.
to me.
And Lester had a very good first game.
Yep.
Beckett sucked.
Yeah, I mean, but
Buchholz sucked. That surprised me more than
well,
Beckett.
yeah, but Buchholz hasn't been on the mound since last July.
Yeah, but he had a good spring, of course, so didn't Beckett. But I guess it shows you what spring
here's the other
training is
question
worth.
I have. Is a lot of people are saying, first of all, they're saying this about the Angels, they're saying it about Tampa Bay, but is that Tigers lineup that good? That guy what's his name? He played center field, is a little guy. He's hit 900. He got out twice in the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's not fielder. That's not, you know what I mean? Then the catcher, Aviles, who ended up to be an all-star last year,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this guy isn't that good. He had 2 home runs. You know what I mean? I don't know whether it was that, are the Tigers that good? A lot of people are saying that
Well,
they have a great lineup.
They got a very good offense. I don't think their pitching is.
After Verlander, who do they have? That's what I
Yeah,
kind
well,
of meant.
whoever it was that threw the shutout is.
And it must be pretty good.
But after that,
yeah.
you give them 2 good starters, and then,
Yeah.
so Felix.
And they're going to run away with their division.
DeBront's going to pitch the first game in Toronto,
Is he? And then Bard the second game?
I guess.
Yeah. See, that's the thing that's also kind of strange is that in the past, for the last, since, well before 2004, with Tim Wakefield being your third, fourth, fifth starter, whatever he was, he would miss a turn. Fifth starters miss turns all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
They don't pitch that much. So you're wasting Bard's arm. I mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But this is what I think. So if they go to Toronto now,
Yeah,
and
Toronto.
they lose 2 games out of the 3, let's hope they win 1. If they lose 2 games out of the 3 because of the bullpen, is it time to make the move then?
Well,
Are they just not panicking and saying, look, this is what we decided to do. We're not going to change what we've decided to do after 3 games. Are they going to wait a week?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but if the bullpen continues to play in losses,
Yeah.
then you can't let that go too long.
No. See, in my opinion, this is my complete opinion, I think we were totally spoiled. I liked Jonathan Papelbon. I would have given him the money yesterday and kept him here. He had a fire. The reason that the Red Sox did what they did over the last 6 or 8 years is they had a fire. They had a, do you know what I mean? They had a.
Well, if anybody should be fired up, it should be Bobby Valentine. He's only got a 2-year contract.
Oh, I know, and after 1 year they can let him go. But what I mean by that is that it's a different team now. Adrian Gonzalez is really good, but he's not a fiery guy. You got Pedroia, you know what I mean? And you got Uke. And Uke, did Uke play yesterday, or did he?
No.
He sat out completely.
Yeah, they talked about that at the beginning of the game. And they're still doing this comparison between Francona and Valentin. These are the announcers now.
Oh, okay.
Youkilis didn't know he wasn't playing until he got to
The ballpark.
yeah. And they said Francona would have never done that. He'd have let him know the night before.
Yeah.
Oh,
here we go.
And Uke is a bit of a hothead. I mean, you've seen him in years past when they do dugout shots after
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
he's had a poor at
He's
bat.
a fiery guy, and that's what they don't have. You know what I mean? I like Cody Ross. I like the guy that they got playing right field. I'm hoping Kyle Crawford does something. I love Ellsbury, but it's a different fire from the way there was a determination that they had before. Schilling, Pedro, there was the determination. Even Francona, I don't see that like that anymore. And that was also Papelbon. I mean, I love when Papelbon used to look. And they used to take his head and stare right down at that guy. That was like, I'm coming after you, and you're not going to hit this. And whether he did or he did, whether the guy hit it out of the park or not, he always had that attitude. That's a closer's attitude. And
more often than not, he
they
was
don't have that
successful.
anymore. They don't have it.
Except for last September.
Yeah.
But none of them did anything in September to speak of.
I
especially
can't
the
say it was his
pitchers.
fault other than the last game there. I
I still blame Crawford.
I thought he had a pretty good season. You know,
Crawford should have caught the ball.
yeah, I guess. I just say that they should have never been in that position.
But what I'm waiting for is once Crawford is back, they can jettison Darnell McDonald. I mean, he is just, he's cheap, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But he's taking up space.
Yeah. He that one year when he came up and he was pretty good with the bat, but last year he did nothing.
The only thing he can maybe do for you is steal a base.
Yeah, but
is it worth keeping him?
From what I see, he doesn't have the head to steal bases. Stealing bases, Dave Roberts is a thinking man's. Know when to go, and he doesn't seem to possess that.
Yeah, well, look at Pedroia.
He's got speed, but
should Pedroia be stealing 20 bases a year?
No,
he's not that fast.
No, he's smart,
but he gets it done.
He's a smart base runner.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
So he's one that maybe has a little fire in him. And But see, I'd like to see, like you said, at the end of last year, after the last game, they're talking with Gonzalez, and it was like, well, I almost got the impression, well, if God meant it to happen, it would have happened. Show something.
That's a San Diego's Padres attitude.
And, I'd like to see somebody, start throwing furniture around or
a little bit.
Or whatever.
And I guess I don't want to see that right away after 3 games. And
no.
It's,
but
and
somebody's got to get
games.
in somebody's face.
Yeah. Well, who is it?
Well, whose face you going to get in right now? Melanson and Aceves.
Yeah, but I don't blame them. I really don't blame them.
Well, you have to.
They're put in a spot. And
they're
relievers,
put in a spot to do their job.
Well, I agree.
Which is to hold the friggin' lead.
But that's relieving all the way along. That's Keith Folk went from here down to the bottom. What's his name? The Chinese guy that was here for years. Okie, the Okie dokie. You know what I mean? Relievers come and go and lose it, and they just have bad years. Aceves was unbelievable last year, but if he was so unbelievable, why wasn't he with all these other teams all these other years? Because he really isn't as good as he was last year.
Well, he's got a career record of like 20-4.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Most of them are
and where did he come from before?
Wins. Yankees.
And they let him go.
They cut him loose. I bet you they wish they didn't.
Oh, I'm sure. Because he's an inning eater. But I think he's a middle guy. I think he's a hold the lead guy. I think he can pitch the 7th and 8th. Yeah. I don't think he's a closer.
But you got 2 guys who are the back end of your bullpen right now.
Yeah.
And basically back-to-back games, both of them sucked.
So yeah,
Aceves hasn't gotten it out.
I know.
Now, granted, it's a small.
Now, this is another thing.
What happened
with Bailey's thumb? What happened?
I don't know. He sucked it too hard. What happened with Beckett's thumb? He had a thumb thing too.
Well, they said Beckett. I've heard that Beckett's thumb has always been like that, and that he could have surgery someday, but it's something that he's had for a while and that he can play and live with. That's what that's what I read. But Bailey, it was like, what did he step on it? What happened?
I don't know. Maybe it's because Francona doesn't allow beer now, and he once he could have
mixed drinks.
He was so anxious.
Martinis.
He tried to open
oh gosh
a bottle cap that wasn't a twist off, and maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Well, should we move on to another subject?
Yeah.
Are you done?
I guess. I'm just. Yeah.
So let's go this way. So I told you that I read that this was the hottest schedule in baseball they had the first month of the season. So what do you think is going to happen? What do you think should happen? What do you think is going to happen? The Yankees are 0-3.
I think they need.
The Orioles are in first place, aren't they? I think the Orioles.
Well, so what?
I know.
Now Toronto's a team you better not totally overlook.
No.
But I think, a nice back-to-back wins would do a lot. And, I'd love to see that bullpen do their job.
I think
they did yesterday. Padilla did very good.
Yeah.
who's the lefty reliever? Morales?
Morales. Yeah, he did pretty good too.
He did fine.
Yep.
The two guys that are getting the money
Closing the door.
both flopped.
I know.
The
other thing that happens is
you shouldn't score 12 runs and lose.
It's a matter of pressure, meaning that the first game was such a pressure-packed game. Then they lose the second one. So yesterday, the pressure was on them. Detroit, as you can see, is playing loosey-goosey. They're just swinging from their shoe tops, you know what I mean? They're swinging for the fence every single time, and it's because they won those first two games, and they're at home.
Oh, yeah, but did you know, some of those games, pitches from the center field shot, I mean, they weren't hitting bad pitches.
No.
I mean, it was like batting practice.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, where do you want it? Waist high, a little in? Here you go.
I know. Against Beckett.
And then you don't do that. Well, yesterday, too.
Yeah.
You don't do that against guys like Cabrera and Fielder.
Oh, I know.
And even Johnny Peralta. I mean, he's not that great in the field, but he's good bat.
He can hit.
And
they got a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, I mean, they were just serving them up there, and they didn't miss them.
Yeah.
Not when it counted. So you got to, give the Tigers credit. I don't think Jim Leland is probably all that thrilled, with some of his pitching after yesterday.
His bullpen was not that good.
But
blowing the lead on Friday or Saturday, whatever.
But last year 0-6 start. So
Red Sox.
Yeah, against Texas. So I mean, tough team. This year they're starting out, as you said, Detroit. Tough team.
Well, but I don't have the schedule in front of me. But it's like they go to Toronto and then they go somewhere else.
Toronto, then they're back. They're in Boston and they get to open up against Texas.
Yeah, and then the Yankees after that.
So
how is Texas doing?
I don't know. I mean, after 3 games,
yeah,
it doesn't really matter. For me, it matters how the Red Sox lost.
Yeah, the way in which they lost.
I mean, Saturday they just got beat. Fridays was tough because they were behind. They came back. Granted, Tigers' defense helped them a little bit, but nevertheless, they came back. And as soon as they do, the bullpen says, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yesterday's game, I mean, there's just absolutely no excuse to score 12 runs and not win. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so let's move on. I guess we'll do current events. So we'll talk about the Masters, which was ended yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Some. Like too. You, I was.
Yeah, flipping and flopping.
Too much going on at the same time in the sports world.
It's sort of an Easter thing, to watch a little bit of golf. And everybody in my family says, what are we watching golf for? You know what I mean? But everybody kind of gets into it a little bit, the way that it's done. And
yeah, I was kind of surprised that Tiger Woods was a non-factor.
Non-factor.
And he won 2 weeks ago. Looked pretty good. He was, driving accuracy was very good. Putter seemed to be working. And
he's kind of lost the mojo, just like the Red Sox.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
he doesn't have the mojo anymore. He doesn't have the.
He doesn't. I mean, some of it was physical.
Yeah.
But before, I mean, he had this mental thing.
Yeah.
And is like he could will himself to win, and you're not going to beat me, and that's just not there.
Well,
the confidence has got to be.
One of the things that you forget is he's 35 now.
Yeah.
He's 35. So some of these guys are 22 and 23.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? They're 12 years younger than him now. That's big in the golf game, It's big on the nerves.
But but that's where the mental part comes in.
Yeah.
Especially if your problem is putting.
Yeah.
Don't matter how old you are.
No. This putting is where you can always compete.
But if you lose that confidence, that stroke, whatever.
Yeah.
If you ever played golf, as well, you can eat up strokes on the green real fast.
Well, I play golf, not as much as I would like. I play a bunch of tournaments, and the reason I play on tournaments is people think that I can putt pretty good. I'm a good lag putter, meaning I can always get it close from like far away and stuff like that. But I don't sink that many, But the rest of my game is, you don't want to know.
Well, I'll tell you,
oh, God.
I haven't played golf for some time because of tendonitis and stuff, and it's just not as fun swinging that club as it used to be.
Yeah.
But there was a time, now this is a lot of years ago, where I shot in the 70s.
Really?
And,
Never me.
well, see, I had this one summer between my freshman and sophomore years of college, I worked at the Mount Washington Hotel.
Oh, wow.
And they have
beautiful
an
place.
18-hole golf course
That's
there.
a beautiful place.
So I go up there, and I had contacted them beforehand in writing. This was back before emails and all that stuff. And, you know, looking for a job. And they said, yeah, you know, you can have a job on the grounds. I said, fine. You know, I just wanted to do that for a summer.
Yeah.
And because it was the only summer that I was guaranteed off, because I went to Northeastern, and they have that co-op program. So sometimes you're in school in
Yes,
the summer.
yes, I know what you
or
mean.
whatnot. So I get up there, and I go see the manager, and, you know, he doesn't even remember anything, you know.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, you know, going to turn me away. So the grounds job was, you know, every day, 7 days a week, you know, during the day. So he said, well, how are you with numbers? And so I said, what? Add, subtract, multiply, divide, I can do that. He said, well, no, write some numbers down. And I said, well, you have favorites? You want to see or what? He said, no, I just want to see if I can read your writing. So, which is, my writing is not the best, so I wrote my best numbers down, you know.
Worked out at that.
And so he offers me a job purchasing, and which was only 6 days a week, more money. I had my own little room with room service and all this stuff, free
Wow,
food,
wow.
you know, and
So purchasing for the hotel.
which was mostly food.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was great after a while, because the employees' cafeteria was almost across the aisle from where the purchasing was. So the little old ladies would bring me, I'd have breakfast. Then in the morning, you know, they'd bring me some more donuts. The guy that delivered milk was trained to bring me a quart of chocolate milk. Then I'd have lunch. In the afternoon, the little old ladies would bring me a sample of the night's desserts. So I could have a little of that, then had supper there. Everything was
So
great.
did you have golf privileges with that?
Yeah,
Wow,
that's the
nice.
thing.
That's nice.
Now, the first week or so I was there, it rained like every day. And I'm thinking, oh, crap.
Yeah.
After that, it never rained when it affected me playing golf. It would rain at night or something like that.
Yeah.
So I played every single day.
Well, that's how you get good.
Yeah. And actually, that's how I supplemented some income, because after a while, I'd hang around a tee with, you know, like 7, 8 clubs in a small bag, because it catered mostly to conventions. So a bunch of guys there, you know, for a few days.
Yeah.
So they're out at the golf course. So I just hang around the tee. And they, you know, invariably would ask if you wanted to join them. And, you know, as often the case may be in those circumstances, you know, they were playing for a little something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
they'd ask, you know, but they'd say, you know, if you don't want to, you don't have to. Because I was, you know, I was this young 19-year-old with this tiny little bag. And I'd say, well, as long as I can't lose too much. And then I would, it was
Take them all.
it was never big
my
money,
gosh.
but I get $4 from this one and $5 from that one and $6 from that one. You know, tax-free cash.
Oh my gosh!
But you do
so
this-
you're eating for nothing, and you're taking everybody at the hotel for money. and
small money.
Wow.
And so it was a great summer. And so that's when my golf game got, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, if you play every day and you don't get better, then you should be doing something else.
Yes, I
You
agree.
know, try tennis
agree.
maybe.
Yep.
But oh, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, how the hell did we get off on that?
I don't know.
We were talking about the Masters.
Oh, we're talking about the Masters. Well, let's go back to the Masters. So, what's his Bubba? What's his name?
Bubba Watson.
Bubba Watson
Bubba.
was the guy that won. A little bit of a different guy. I saw a little bit of a show on him last night after
Oh,
the
really?
show, and he's kind of he's a NASCAR guy. He's a fishing.
Well, he's from
fisherman.
Georgia.
Yeah, he's just different than a lot of golfers. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing I found interesting, did you catch this? He has never had a lesson,
Yeah,
and he's never watched his swing on video.
yeah.
And
And you could see he has this wild swing, But
But he can do some neat
yeah.
stuff with that
well,
ball.
what I didn't see, because I was switching channels between the Celtics and the Red Sox and that, was the shot. They're saying it's one of the best shots in Masters history.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, it was on the second playoff hole. He was sort of in the woods on pine needles. No clear shot to the green. Wails the daylights out of it, puts this big hook on the ball because that's the only way you could get it near the green.
Yeah.
And boom, on it goes, was maybe 10, 12 feet away.
Really?
And then what helped, helped a whole lot, because he ended up missing the putt for a birdie, is Oosterhuizen
yeah, the guy that was
came
with
up
him in the
short on his second shot, no excuse for it, and then hit a rather poor chip, missed his par putt, so
Oh,
he basically gave it to him.
So he bogeyed, and this guy parred to win the
Yeah,
championship.
but it was a hell of a shot to
Yeah.
get, let alone on the green, but where it was on the green.
Yeah.
You know, and they keep talking about him. I haven't seen him play that much, but
Me
I
either.
guess the commentators were, like Nick Faldo was the commentator, and he's just known for pulling shots out of his butt.
Yes, yes.
You know,
they said
he's
he
very
does
creative.
crazy. Yeah, very creative. That's the word. And you never hear that about a golfer. They just do. You know, it's that patented swing every time. You're supposed to have that swing. It's supposed to be the same every
Yeah.
time. You know.
Yeah.
So-
Well, there's one thing about being creative, and the other thing is pulling it off.
Yes.
You know,
I agree.
And
So did you see Mickelson go down? I know he was in the hunt, but what happened to
he
him?
triple bogeyed the fourth hole.
Really?
Yeah, par 3. I didn't see it,
Wow.
so I don't know what he did.
That sounds.
But there was a
that's
six,
what I would do.
there was a 6-stroke swing between. He was on the fourth, and I think Oosterhuizen was on the second, because he was
Yes, he eagled a hole that's never been
double eagle.
double eagle.
He got a 2 on a par 5.
Wow.
So there's 3 under. And Mickelson, triple bogey, so there's 3 over. So that's between those two guys, that's a 6-stroke swing. So Oosterhuizen went from third place to first place like that.
Wow. He still lost.
And almost
though.
held on.
Wow.
You know, it was a good tournament. You know, I mean, obviously it went sudden death. You know,
Yeah.
so you know, no runaway.
Did you know if anything happened with the controversy? The controversy about women. Do you know about that?
Well, they don't admit, not that they
But
will
their
admit.
biggest sponsor this year is
IBM.
IBM. And IBM's
Chairman.
CEO is
A
a
woman.
woman. And there was supposed to be something.
In the past, they have made the CEO of IBM a member of Augusta,
Yes.
but they don't publicize it. But they must, in a way, somehow, for people to know that.
Yeah.
So they're wondering, did they extend the same thing this year? And prior to the tournament, the president was asked of the Masters was asked about it.
And he said no comment, probably.
He said, "We never discuss who our
Yeah.
members are."
Oh, good old Georgia.
So,
Oh, man.
but that, well, I mean, you know, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, they were like the Red Sox of the golf world for a while. You know, the Red Sox were the last team to integrate.
Yeah.
And the ironic thing is, I mean, they had the chance to sign Jackie Robinson and said no thanks.
Yep.
And so,
Those Tom
so they
Yorkie,
ended
too.
up with, they ended up with Pumpsy Green eventually.
Yes, I remember.
Not-
I was
not quite the
How far
same.
back do you go with that? When did you go to your first Red Sox game?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Pete Runnels
Pete Reynolds.
was my favorite player.
Yeah.
And-
Jackie Jensen was my favorite
And
player.
Pete, he was a singles and doubles hitter.
Yeah.
Played
good, good player though. He was an all-star a couple
He
of
won
years.
a couple of batting titles,
Yeah.
second baseman, first baseman.
Yeah.
And I remember the first game I ever saw, I believe he was playing first at that time. And, you know, I'm just a,
Yeah.
grammar schooler.
Yep.
And national anthem time comes. So we're sitting on the first base side. Hat comes off. He's balding. Well, I'm crushed because to me that equates to old.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't think of your ball
Heroes.
player
Yeah.
favorites being old. He probably wasn't that old. He was just
Yeah.
prematurely bald, like Pedroia. So.
Yeah.
But I just remember, like, you know. But no, I mean, I remember Bill Mombaquette,
Yeah,
Dave
me too.
Moorhead,
Yeah.
Dick Raditz.
Dick Raditz. Dick Raditz lived in Canton. I grew up in Canton, and Dick Raditz lived. Our neighborhood was, on one end, was small houses that were built after World War II.
Yeah.
And then there was houses that were built in the early 60s that were a little bit bigger. And Dick Raditz lived down there. Never around, though. We knew it was his house.
Could you imagine what he would be making in today's world?
Oh, I know.
Well, I mean, you used to say that with a lot of players. I
Yeah.
mean, Mantle and,
I know.
you know, all of those guys.
But
I
he
mean,
was
Raditz was a good relief pitcher for a few years on
yeah.
a lousy team.
Oh, he was a great relief pitcher. I mean, once again, it's that I'm going to throw this by you, and I don't care what you say. And that was Raditz. He had that. He was the toughest looking son of a gun you ever saw. You know what I mean?
And back then, they didn't have that big fireball or
Closes at all. You know, they really didn't have
because
closes. They were just
he probably
relievers.
had one pitch. Did he have anything besides a fastball?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Don't remember it, but I don't think
But back then, it was sufficient.
Yeah.
You know,
It really was.
I mean, Mariano basically has one pitch.
Yeah, they cut
And you
him.
know it's coming, and
I
you still
know.
can't hit it.
I know.
But-
I tell you that's amazed me for years.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, come on,
You
he's
think they
got to be
gotta
done.
figured him out by now.
I want to retire. I mean, I want him to retire before I do. Good heavens, you know, jeepers. He's
Yeah,
gonna
the
be-
guy's
he's gonna be
amazing.
sick. I'm going to be 75 years old, and he's still going to be pitching. Oh man.
But
The Bruins are done, and they're starting the
regular
playoffs
season. Yeah, a little tough.
tomorrow night,
Tougher.
right? Tomorrow night.
Thursday.
Thursday.
We're taping on Monday, so depending when you're watching this, but yeah, Thursday.
Thursday. And it's Washington. What do you think of that?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Thought it was going to be Ontario, which I thought shouldn't be much of a problem.
Yeah.
Washington has played them tough this year.
Yeah. Well, they got, what's his name? The big gun there. I can't think of his name right
Ovechkin.
now. Ovechkin. But then they also, that guy, Seven. They have Backstrom. They have 2 or 3 guys that can really score.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as a team, not just this year, but for at least the last 2, you have to say is underachieving.
Very much so. No goalie. Who is it? Do you know who the goalie is? I don't even know.
No.
I really don't even know. It's always been like their weak point, I think, and I don't even know.
Yeah, but it wasn't that long ago that they were,
Yeah.
number 1, number 2 in the East.
I
and
agree.
Ye-
I don't think the Bruins are going to have much of a problem. I think it's going to be 5 games.
I think
maybe.
they're 1-2-1 against them this year. They were 4-0-1, I think, against
Really?
Ontario, or 4-1.
Well, one thing you got to remember about the Bruins last year. I mean, Thomas was unbelievable, and he's going to have to be again. But they won like 2 or 3 game 7s. I mean, it went.
Nathan Horton,
Yeah, I know.
he ain't playing.
I like Ralston. I'm really happy about that. I don't know how the lines are going to line up because Ralston was playing on the 4th line and Paille wasn't playing. I don't know.
Yeah. Julian was, fiddling around a
And who's
little
on
bit.
with? So if Horton doesn't play, and
Well,
I should. So who is it? Karen, who's playing with Lucic and Krejci?
Yeah, well, there's Peverly, too.
But Peverly's the center on the. No, that's right. It was Peverly, Kelly, and that's the 3rd line.
Yeah, that should be the 3rd, yeah. Sean Thornton's probably on the 4th line.
Sean Thornton, it used to be Paille, and Campbell was the 4th line. So they really have another extra forward. It's just a matter, they have an extra forward, but Horton is out of the picture.
Yeah.
So it's who plugs in where, and how does that affect the lines,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're capable of making a run.
Yeah.
But I think the stars have to align.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to walk through. I mean, the Rangers,
Pretty impressive.
much tougher this year.
Yeah.
I
didn't know anything about the Rangers going into the year, but
I was surprised. I mean, early on they were there, and you thought, that's nice.
Yeah.
But,
they've been pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia's always hot in Pittsburgh. If what's his name is playing, is always going to be good.
Crosby.
Crosby.
Yeah.
So and that's and then out west, I don't have any idea. I'd love for them to play Vancouver again.
Well,
if they ever got
Vancouver,
there.
they've had a good year.
Detroit is always there.
Yeah.
And they say the number 1 team
Detroit
in the
went
league
through
is St. Louis.
Detroit went through one hell of a string during the season. They won like 20 in a row. It's
Really?
Stupid.
Always good. You know, they're always.
Yeah,
They're always
St. Louis was good last year too.
yeah.
So, but I mean, it's to me a little premature. I mean,
Yep.
they're gonna have to fight to get out of the East.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
So,
But it should be interesting.
and
I'm
then
looking forward to it.
you've got, yeah, well, they're not quite ready for the playoffs, but the Celtics now have a 3-game lead on Philly. So
Yeah,
Philly must be sliding.
Oh, bad.
Because the Celtics haven't been
Well, no,
exactly killing people lately.
The press
they had a very
conference,
good win
they
Sunday.
lost to, who was it? Philadelphia. I watched, it was on TNT, and they showed the press conference with Doug Collins,
Yeah.
who was their coach. And he just lit into his own team so bad. He said he was calling them babies.
Well, about the week before, they had their butts totally taken
Yeah.
apart by Washington of all
Yeah,
teams.
well, they're really, now they're saying there's a possibility that Philadelphia doesn't make the playoffs, and that the Knicks could make the playoffs. So,
Yeah, well, they don't
yeah, why not?
concern me a whole lot.
No.
But
You know, all you have to do is guard Carmelo Anthony, and then it's
Yeah,
If
'cause
Stoudemire is out, and that kid Lynn is out, so
Yeah.
you know the Knicks are nothing. But what I'm saying is Philadelphia is dropping like a stone. You know,
yeah, because I mean the Celtics. I mean they beat. Was it Philly Sunday, right?
they beat Philly Sunday,
Beat 'em good.
and they beat Indiana, who was the night before beat the Heat or Chicago the night before. So they beat Indiana.
Yeah, and then Celtics lost to Chicago.
And they lost to San Antonio.
Yeah, well, that was a 1-point loss, I think, but
Yeah, but
shouldn't have been.
typical San Antonio. Like, how are they doing this?
Yeah.
I watched that game, and it was unreal. San Antonio is the most amazing team to me.
Yeah.
Because they don't look like they're playing well, and they win.
Yeah.
You know, Popovich, they got all these guys, they got Ginobili, they got all these people, but it's never a clean, impressive game. You know what I mean? But they win. You know, I mean, it's, I don't know.
So, to my way of thinking, and I've said this before, as far as the Celtics in the playoffs, I'll give them a shot making through the first round. I don't expect to see them.
Oh,
pass
you know,
that.
they're peaking at the right time. They're pretty healthy. Petrus is coming back now, which is and their second unit. Now with the second unit now is Pavlovich, but Ray Allen is on the second unit now, and Steamsma now is playing unbelievable. He's averaging 5 blocks a game.
Is he cutting down on his falls?
Yeah, well, they're starting to know who he is. You know what I mean, and how he blocks the ball. Referees, don't get me started on NBA referees.
Hey, what about those NBA
Oh my
referees?
gosh! The other night,
Come on.
Tommy Heinsohn was going wild, but it was the other night. It was the night against.
Oh, there's a
it was-
shock.
I know, but I'm right there with him. I'm bad, but Indiana, the Indiana game. I counted like 22 different things that they got completely wrong for both teams. I mean, simple out of bounds plays. Simple. There's nobody around. The ball just goes out of bounds. The guy throws it out of bounds, and they call it wrong. And it was almost a laugh. There was so many things that were calling wrong. You're like, and really what it was is, it's like anything in life. Things started to go wrong for the referees, and then they could get nothing right. You know what I mean? They were falling down. They were,
refs?
Oh, it was hilarious. It was just hilarious.
The Three
it was
Stooges.
a comedy.
Three
it was,
Stooges
it
play,
was,
yeah.
yeah, that's coming up. It was really, really funny. But thank heavens the Celtics won that game, because Indiana couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in the end. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I give them a chance. Again, this week, I don't know what day we're on, but I think Wednesday, the Celtics are playing the Heat again at home this time. They kicked their butt a week and a half ago. They beat them by 30 or something like that.
Yeah, in
27.
Boston.
In Boston. So I think
19 it was.
19. Maybe they're going down there this time. I don't know. But anyways, they're playing the Heat again. And I'm telling you, if they play the Heat in the second round, I think they can beat them. You don't think so? I do.
I don't think they can beat I don't think they can beat a top team in 7 games. A game, maybe even 2.
I think that they would have a hard time beating Chicago. Chicago is a defensive unit. And
What's going to happen once Rose comes back.
He's back.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, but they lost to New York on his first game back. Yeah.
Jesus, how did that happen?
They lost. They said, I didn't see it, but they said they missed 6 or 8 free throws in the last minute and a half, and they lost by 1 in overtime. But
we'll use it a thought.
But I'm telling you, LeBron James is the Alex Rodriguez of basketball.
But he's not the only one on
under
that
pressure.
team.
He's got 10 thumbs.
But he doesn't have to be the go-to guy.
No, but they just don't look good. They're horrible rebounding. If you can stop them from fast breaking, they're not a half court team. They can't do sets. They all stand around and watch Dwayne Wade set. A set play. It's either Dwayne Wade dribbling around or LeBron James dribbling around. And Pierce has always been able to guard one of them pretty good. And now you have Avery Bradley that took Dwayne Wade to school the last game. I
hope you're right, because I'm not a Heat fan.
Oh gosh, thanks.
But
if you were, I'd leave. I'd be out of here. So we'll see how that goes. I think there's a couple of weeks left of the NBA season, like 2.
Yeah, I would think at the most.
3, I don't know.
They got to be.
It's such a confusing season. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I know that the Celtics have 3 back-to-backs in the next week and a half.
Well, they had
a back-to-back-to-back. They play 3 nights in a row.
Oh, they haven't gotten through that one yet?
No, it's still coming up.
Because they just had a back-to-back.
Yeah.
So
but what is pretty good
is nice that they've padded their lead a little bit.
And also the second unit is playing pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to leave.
Well, I'm glad
Pierce and Rondo out there.
I'm glad that he's got Allen coming off the bench.
Yeah.
I know his first game back, they had him starting.
Yeah.
But I think, what's his name? Bradley?
Bradley.
Still played 34 minutes that game. I just think they're better without him starting right now.
Well, going back to when they won,
because
of Tom Thibodeau being the defensive coach, the Celtics always start off as a defensive team. They want to play good team defense, and Bradley on the ball, on the point guard, is a force to be reckoned with. So that's a great thing for them to have the ability to do that.
Yep.
And the thing is when do you, because they're saying that if Ray Allen comes off the bench, then he's going to get all the shots with the second unit, which is okay. You know what I mean?
No, but if he can come off and give you 2 or 3 threes, in a short period of time, that's perfect.
Yep, I agree.
But maybe I know you're a big basketball aficionado. One of my things that I wonder about is because I remember when we years ago when I used to be able to go to UMass games and sit courtside and whatnot. And, we'd say, sometimes you'd see some real good players on other teams. Like I got to see David West and Jameer Nelson and a few others. And, but sometimes, there'd be traveling calls against them and stuff like that. And, me and my friend, who I did the show with at that time, said, hey, once they turn pro, they don't need to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
So why is it that you can walk from half court?
Half court. It's like, it's not
Isn't it supposed to be 2 steps?
Well, it's supposed to be
rumor?
2, and in certain situations 3. But now it's 4. I mean, LeBron James runs from half court. I don't know. I don't know.
When did the rules change from college to pro? I mean, have you ever? Well, you probably have, but I'd like to know if you can remember the last time you've seen a traveling call.
Well, once in a great while, but when they call traveling calls, this is when they call a traveling call. If a guy comes off a pick, like let's say Rondo's got the ball, and Ray Allen comes off a pick, and he gets the pass from Rondo, ready to shoot, and a guy steps up to him to stop him from shooting, and he hesitates, and he pitter-patters his feet a little bit. Immediately, they call that traveling. That's what they call, that kind of call. But if you're at the top of the key and you do a crossover and you drive and take 5 steps, they don't call it. They never call it.
No, they're like a running back. They got the ball.
I know. It's this. They tuck it and they take 3 steps and they run by the guy and you're like, I don't know. The way that it works in the NBA is that you could look at the people on the roster, for the game that you're going to watch, and you can tell how many people are going to, how many fouls are going to have. LeBron James is going to have 2. He should have 7, but he's going to have 2. You know what I mean? And the rookies, if they play any significant minutes, are going to have 5 or 6. You know what I mean? That's what I hate about basketball is it's all in who who you are.
Yeah.
You get the calls, and it's the same thing. Like the other night, there was a bad call. And it was this referee made a bad call, and they ran down the floor, and they just got down there, and they called an offensive foul. The other referee was making up the call because he thought this one was bad, so he was making up the call there. So then they ran down the other end, and the other guy made a bad call again. It's like the referees were saying, "Hey, don't reverse my call." They were getting mad at each other. It was just it's.
That the Indiana game?
It is. It was, and there's
Now, another difference between I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now, if we were on defense, you couldn't touch
No.
the guy you were
No
guarding.
arm, no foot, no hand in the back, nothing.
Now,
Yes.
and maybe that's not a bad thing,
Yes.
but they're allowed to at least put a hand on them, which,
Yes.
It
It depends. What it is you're not supposed to impair their
Impede,
movement.
yeah.
And if you're in the block, Garnett, playing defense against the center, he's able to forearm in the back to hold his position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what he's able to do, but not what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's no rhyme or reason to it. I guess I could say that they could call a foul on every play.
I'm sure they could.
And they could. But
Same in football.
But if they were consistent with it and people knew what it was, and they say that they try to be consistent within each game.
Yeah.
You go out in the game, okay, you have this guy as a referee, he's going to call hand checking. You know what I mean? Don't slap the hand or else you're going to get called. But there's no consistency to it. And I swear, I imagine that if you go into a playoff game and it comes down on a piece of paper to Doc Rivers and they go, okay, these 3 refs, they go, we're screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on who the guys are,
Yeah, well, that's what like baseball players like in an umpire.
Yeah, I know.
At least keep the strike zone
Well-
consistent. And same in hockey.
Yeah, there's a guy yesterday, when the guy hit the home run, so the Red Sox lost, the ref umpires had circled the bases. And Nesson didn't show it for a couple minutes, what the home run. So I goes, oh, that wasn't a home run. And they said C.B. Buckner, who was the umpire out there, called it a home run. And the Red Sox have had all kinds of run-ins over the years with this guy, C.B. Buckner. He's this umpire. And I said, oh, my gosh, it was him. Because he didn't even call for them to come together to look at it. But he was totally right.
Yeah.
It was the right call. You know what I mean? It was just funny. But I hate to be like that with umpires and referees, but it's a fact of life,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do have an indirect effect on the game.
Oh, yeah.
Same in hockey sometimes,
Yeah.
And it's exactly what you were talking about. I think what the players are looking for is consistency within the game.
Yeah.
And you don't always get that.
Well, you have to say refereeing was a big part of that Vancouver series last year because the Bruins came in as the big bad Bruins, and Vancouver, the Sedin twins, so they tried to act. They tried to have their couple of guys act tough. Remember when they tried to bite Bergeron's fingers and all that stuff? And they tried to act tough. And it kind of backfired on them for a couple of games because then they were perceived as the bad guys. And not only did the Bruins start to get the calls, but then the Bruins were able to hammer them physically and not be called as much. You know what I mean? It's the way that the series developed, officiating-wise, worked out well for the Bruins,
Yeah, because you don't have the same refs for the whole series.
No, I don't think so.
Like in baseball, you have the same refs for a given series against a team, and then it's a new crew. But they rotate, every game too. So it's not.
So by highlights, Tampa Bay really looks good. What's his name? Carlos Pena. He's back with them, and 2 blasts, home runs. They're almost out of that darn little.
His best years with them.
I know. We had him at one time too, And I always liked. I know.
For a month.
Yeah, and I always liked him. He's a local guy, Northeastern.
Yep.
That's where he went to school. And but they got a pretty formidable lineup with Zobrist, and they got, they've reloaded. I'm kind of surprised.
Oh yeah, well they got this guy named Longoria.
Yeah, but the kid they used to have playing shortstop, they got rid of, and they got rid of Kyle Croft. I mean, there's some guys they had to get rid of because no money,
Yeah.
because it's Tampa Bay. But Madden is reloaded, and
Sorry to interrupt. You guys have about 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you,
Jennifer.
Yeah, well, Minnesota's able to do that.
Yeah.
How
do they look this year?
I'm not sure. I haven't really paid a lot
They're
of
all
attention
closing.
to
Joe
Minnesota.
Nathan is closing for Texas now.
Yeah. In fact, I've got an email into a guy. He was an assistant AD at UMass, and he went with the athletic director, Ian McCaw. Assistant's name was Nick Joos, Joos. They went to Minnesota, and they were there for, 2-3 years, and now both are in Baylor.
Oh, wow.
So
Baylor's the place to be
So
right
I got
now.
back in touch with them after the Lady Bears won the championship, and the men made the Final Four. And
Yeah, but then you get the big quarterback there, too.
Yep.
Second round, going to be the second
most
draft
likely,
pick.
yeah. And so, in fact, I just emailed him this morning, see if he responds or not, because he's probably got better things to do right now, because they've got some good spring sports there as well.
Yeah.
But I asked him if he'd be willing to share with me, that I could share with our viewers, the differences, good and bad, going from, say, a school like UMass to a big D1 school like Minnesota, to another major conference team with a religious, or it's a Baptist affiliation.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see what his take on that is. And
Yeah.
hopefully he will
I'd like to know that.
give me some sort of an answer.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we're gonna. Oh, you know what? Jeez, we got 2 brand new underwriters.
Yes, that's right.
week.
You were telling me about that. Why don't you tell everybody who they are?
Well, we got the Sagamore Inn. They're open for the season.
Lovely
and-
Italian food there.
Yeah, and they got seafood. Good variety.
Right on 6A.
Steaks and chops. And starting in May, they'll be doing breakfast on the weekends as well.
Oh, wow. Saturdays and Sundays?
Yeah, but just right now, until May, it's, I think, 11:30 to 9 o'clock, lunch and dinner.
Okay.
Nice place. And you can find out if you go there how to get a free meal on your next birthday, too.
Cool.
Good deal.
Yeah.
And the other one is further up on 6A, Sandwich Animal Hospital.
Oh, wow. I know it very well.
And they do everything there.
Yes, they do.
I mean, I was amazed. I mean, besides the normal stuff you would expect vets to do, they do surgery, they do dentistry, they do their own microchipping. You can get your dog groomed and defleed, and they've got a full pharmacy, and
Wow.
it's amazing. It's not
I
that
didn't know
big of
all
a
that.
building, but
Wow.
so it's like one-stop shopping for your pet, so to speak. And they do, the usual, the dogs, the cats, but they do, birds, reptiles, rabbits, and those other little things, guinea pigs.
Yeah, guinea pigs.
And, it's pretty much the whole
Ferrets.
gamut. Ferrets, yeah, I'm sure they do ferrets. Maybe.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks to
Yeah,
our
so pay
sponsors.
attention to these places. You see them at the beginning and the end of each show. You get their information about their websites, their phone numbers, and all that. And they're all nice, wonderful businesses, worthy of,
Our patronage.
there you go. Nice word.
Yes. Thank you.
So I guess we're going to say bye.
Thanks a lot.
See you next week. "125 years and still teaching the world to sing, Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod is proud to support the Dukes of Sports." Some of the products offered by Coca-Cola that you can enjoy are Dasani Water, Powerade, Minute Maid Juices, Vitamin Water, Fuse, V8, and Honest Tea.
With 15 offices from the Canal to Provincetown, our experienced and professional agents get the job done, whether you are buying or selling. We also offer summer vacation rentals and can assist in mortgage financing. serving the most buyers and sellers across the entire Cape. Check us out at kinlandgrover.com.
Heritage Floor Covering supports the Dukes of Sports and has a spacious and extensive showroom to browse through. Cheryl and Russell are fully insured and offer free estimates. We sell the best and you pay less. 508-833-7600.
The Sagamore Inn is pleased to support the Dukes of Sports. Feel free to visit our website, SagamoreInnCapeCod.com, for our full menu, catering, and directions. Ask us how you can get a free meal on your next birthday. 508-888-9707.
Dr. Leslie Harmon of Sandwich Animal Hospital, 508-888-2774, gladly supports the Dukes of Sports. We offer lifetime care for dogs, cats, birds, reptiles, rabbits, and more with an on-site diagnostic laboratory, complete pharmacy, medical diets, microchipping, professional grooming, and flea bath appointments. 508-888-8225.